Cassidy.
We're live.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone.
Morning. All right. I'll make a motion. The Board of Commissioners approves the October 10th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina? Yes. Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes. The Board of Commissioners will recess at this time for a public hearing. The purpose of this hearing is to discuss the insurance by Arizona Industrial Development Authority of several of the series of its bonds, its notes, bonds, and other obligations from time to time pursuant to the plan of financing and its aggregate principal not to exceed $355 million. More practically, to describe the attached notice is the public hearing. Exhibit A is resolution. Its items to consider include the proposed issues of 2024 bonds, 2024 purposes, and the location and nature of the original project to be financed or refinanced, and the plan of financing or refinancing. The foregoing approval is given in accordance with and solely satisfy the requirements of Section 147F of the Code and does not obligate the county in any way with respect to the bonds and the projects. At this time, I'd like to swear in any of those who are going to speak today. If you raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear on the penalty of law and perjury of the state of Ohio that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please say I do.
I do.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good morning. Should I sit up here?
Please, if you would.
Sure. So I am Kip Wallers. I am bond counsel with Ice Miller in Columbus, and we were here before you in 2019 when the county approved this. And so this is a refinancing of the bonds that were issued by the Arizona Industrial Development Authority. Those bonds were issued for the purpose of Great Lakes Senior Living, which is a nonprofit. They acquired 7 properties, independent living facilities, 2 in Ohio, 5 in Michigan. Azita was the issuer because there is no, entities in Ohio can't issue bonds for projects outside the state, nor can issuers in Michigan issue bonds for purposes outside the state of Michigan. So Azita is a multi-state issuer.
Okay.
Under the Internal Revenue Code, when tax-exempt bonds are issued, and these are tax-exempt because it's a 501c3 that it benefits, the Internal Revenue Code requires that the entity having jurisdiction over the property approve the issuance of the bonds, and so that's the 147F reference that you cited. It's called a TEFRA hearing. So the bonds are going to be issued in connection with the refinancing of those prior obligations. They are seeking kind of a restructuring of the debt. The debt may be extended, and all of this is to assure the continued operation of these facilities. I believe that the list of the facilities that are affected was in the notice of public hearing, which I think is attached to the resolution. So I won't go through all of that. I think one point is that the borrower is going to continue to own the projects, and Senior Village Management LLC, which is also known as Story Point or CSEG, they are going to be the manager, and so they're going to continue to manage the facilities. The single member of the borrower is Provident Resources Group, which is a nonprofit organized and existing under the laws of the state of Georgia. About $37 million of the 2024 bond proceeds are going to be allocable to the project within the county, so that was kind of the value of the project that was acquired. The bonds, when they're issued, are not going to be an obligation of the county. They're going to be special obligations solely of the borrower, and so this approval is for tax purposes. I think that's probably about all I have to say. Are there any questions?
I do not have any.
Mike?
No.
No? Chris, are you here? I think it says on my paper, the prosecutor's office comments. Do you have any comments, sir?
I agree with that.
He's going with it.
Chris approves that message. Translation,
It's a nice day, I'm with you.
Okay.
All right, Kip, if there's nothing else?
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Okay, is there any public comment that we know of? None being heard, I will move to adjourn this public hearing.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Thank you for your time, Kip.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
to meet you.
Okay, great.
Take care.
And y'all will consider the resolution?
Yes.
Today.
Today.
We'll pass
Yep.
it later today.
All right, terrific, thank
Yep.
you.
You can stick around for next hour, hour and a half if you like.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
It's
it's,
be
I know you
exciting.
really want to.
thanks so
Not
much.
all for every day.
do you have your contact information? You can send it to your.
Yes, yes you do, but I'll give you a card as well.
That was quick. Did you want to say?
I'd like to.
I thought you were gonna give a speech.
I'm working on it.
All right, next time, 5 years.
It's gonna be in Italian.
All right, appreciate it. Bye-bye. All right, we will reconvene as Board of Commissioners. All right, project updates.
Alrighty.
Morning, Miss
morning.
Shannon.
I don't have a ton, but I have some. Since I missed you guys last week.
We
Oh,
we did,
yeah.
we didn't know what to do.
Michelle probably handled it just fine.
She wasn't there either.
It was a little bit of a struggle, but she did it.
She did it. Hold it through. Okay. If we go to page 3, the internal services parking lot has been complete. They just have to put lines back on. So what they did was they kind of tore it up our parking lot when they dug, to put in that basin. And then they just blacktopped over it. So now we just have to get it restriped. But it looks really, really nice.
Excellent.
Yeah, I looked at it, I just hope it works.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it will, but
I know.
Fingers
So I have fingers crossed. So every time it rains, I'm like, how much rain are we gonna get? But it's not enough yet to see. So, let's see. The recorder's office. Both contractors came in to measure, and we should have quotes next week. I did just receive the quote this morning for the carpeting, and it's $41,000 for the recorder's office. So that was the first quote that I got for that. I know.
The whole floor is being recarpeted?
They want all of it to be recarpeted.
Wow.
Oh, this is for next year's budget
Mhm.
and stuff. And I'd like to
Yeah.
get one more quote. So
It's
for
just
that.
everything's going up, the cost of
It's everything, I know. The annex building, Michelle talked to you last week about enclosing maybe the stairs, like with some sort of glass. He's gotta come up with a game plan, because he said the elements are what's destroying those stairs. So the
Yeah.
salt and everything, it's just destroying them, because you have to put salt on the steps so people don't fall. So he thinks if you enclose it and then reinforce underneath, that should be better, but I just don't know how much that's gonna be. I don't know if I have to go out to bid for it. He needs to give me a cost for his services so I can have him plan it out,
Mhm.
so. Otherwise, cause you're gonna be using those stairs more and more now that we got people up there, so. And then on page 5, Judge Pittman's lobby, we got the quote on that, but we're waiting for a date for the judge's staff to tell us when it's okay, so that could be a little while. We're enclosing, she wants a door in her office area and then a window. So, until she gives me the go, I'm kind of at a standstill. And then the public defender's new office space, the last meeting, we're gonna have the last meeting today at 1:00 to go over final details, and then they will let us know when the bid specs can be ready so that we can go out to bid.
Okay.
So, I think he said they were gonna do it like in December, they wanted to do it, so. And then I don't have very many resolutions either, so.
Cool, great.
Yay. All right, I'll start. The Board of Commissioners approves the plan and specifications and set date for accepting bids for the Bolingbrook off-site drainage improvements.
second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners approves the public announcement of available contract for the professional construction administration services for the project known as the replacement of Old Forge Road Bridge over Breakneck Creek in Ritztown Township.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement for child and adolescent needs and strengths assessment services with Portage County Jobs and Family Services and Bear Foundation.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to award and enter into a contract with Hummel Construction Company for the Target of Opportunity Program, Village of Manaway 10600 Block Facade Project.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. Wow.
That was
Wow,
quick.
That was quick.
Can we
Great
do it
news.
again?
Yeah, okay, so, thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you. Rob, you're up. Airport, sir.
Hey, check the chair out on your way by.
Oh, yeah, I will.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody?
What's up, Skippy?
Skippy. All right. I'll go with Skippy today. Let's see. Last time I was here, Resolution 240565 basically went through and said that the Board of Commissioners was taking on all of the grant assurances for the airport. One of the other things that came up was the 2017 grant that was used for land acquisition. We didn't record the deeds for the land that was acquired correctly. Well, we recorded it correctly. We didn't record the grant according to one of the conditions that the FAA wanted. So that's what today's resolution is to do, is to put an amendment in so that we record the grant with the deeds, so that that land can't be used, can't be sold out from underneath the federal government.
Okay, so you weren't here and I wasn't here. Who's we? We recorded. Who's we?
Oh, the airport authority.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been under them.
Yeah, so it's a 2017 grant. We're trying to close it out so that we can open up new grants. And it's condition number 30 of the 2017 grant, which it's the last one on the list. It's easy to see how it was missed. You think that you're doing everything right, and then when we actually go through the closeout with the feds, they were like, hey, you guys missed this one.
I bet they watch that too.
They do, they do.
Wow, okay.
So worked with worked with Chris, came up with this amendment. The Chicago office of the FAA understands what we're doing and agrees with it and thinks it's the best solution, instead of going back through and trying to record all the deeds all over again
Yeah.
to
Good.
catch up. Oh, yeah. So,
Great, excellent.
All right, I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to authorize and approve the execution of the addendum concerning the 2017 FAA grant agreement for the Portage County Regional Airport.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. Rob, thank you much for coming in.
Rob, I got a
Thanks.
quick question for you.
yes, ma'am.
I believe this was brought up before, but someone just approached me again. The balloon affair.
Okay.
They have outgrown the space there, and it's just a hazard because of the traffic and stuff.
Okay.
And they inquired if we could do that out at the airport, and I said, I'd have to talk with you to see.
First blush, looking at it,
Yeah.
sounds great.
Yeah.
The logistics of where to park
Yeah, thousands of cars.
that's my thing. I don't know where we would put all the cars.
Yeah. And it'll
We
just
can-
cause, well, and the other concern, speaking of traffic, is now we've got, that Commerce Park down there, traffic's gonna start getting jammed up. That was one thing that I thought of, but they inquired about using our airport, and I said, I thought we looked into that, and I don't think we just decided that was gonna be a good thing, but I didn't know, and I thought I'd come back to you. And
Here's what I would say is that if it's an aviation activity, which it is, we should figure out how to make it work, figure out how to say yes to it.
Yeah.
So we have to go to the FAA office and actually run it by them. They're gonna do a lot of study to it, so I need time. So that's the whole thing. We wanted to do another sort of event, and I just didn't even have enough time to even pick up the phone and call the FAA.
Well, this wouldn't be until next September, so.
Okay.
I mean, you'd have time to research, and obviously
Yeah.
we would support,
But my biggest thing would
Yeah.
be, where do we park all those cars?
I didn't think about that, that's a good point.
There's no place.
I don't even like taking the tractor and mowing through there because it's rough. I mean, if it's not up against the runway, the areas that are up against the fence along Nanway Boulevard, they're pretty rough.
Okay.
So-
Do they keep record of how many cars they parked this year? Because they brought somebody in to park the cars this year.
Well, I'm
Good
sure
start.
they could count because they charge to park, so
Correct.
they
There we
would
Yeah,
know.
I'd like to see how many
many.
cars, because there's that field, I mean, you'd have to plow a field and then hopefully it wouldn't rain, but
Yeah, because Dwayne Hicks brought it up again, and I
Mhm.
said, Dwayne, I could be off, but I said, I thought we looked at this and it wasn't gonna be a good idea.
And the other thing that
But
I can think of when
I
we
wanted
start
to circle
talking about
back.
paying to park for cars,
Yeah,
then we
see,
get
we're
into
free.
commingling funds, and the FAA will want to know how much the airport's making off of the parking.
Well, these
So-
are all good points. So can I have him just reach
Oh,
out
yeah,
to you?
yeah.
And then we'll let you,
You know me, I like to talk about airports, so.
yeah. Well, we wanna do
So
what's
anybody
for
could-
the
I
best
think we'd have
interest.
long conversation about cars.
But I didn't think about that. You bring up a valid point, because I'm sure they're wanting to do it for free, but then they're gonna charge people to
And
use a
that's where
public.
that's where we have a problem,
Okay.
so, but we can figure it out. There's
Yeah.
always some way
Okay.
to say yes to
Well, if we
it.
can, we can. If not, you know,
Mhm.
they'll just have to find a different location, unfortunately, because they've outgrown. The good news is they've outgrown
Mhm.
where they're at,
Yeah.
but it's too dangerous.
And
with the
and the
traffic.
other, I mean, thinking out loud, I don't even have enough places to park airplanes, let alone park cars. I mean, that would be something that,
And-
We're talking about 1,000 cars.
oh, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about 10 or 15 airplanes. I
And
need
how would
places to
that
do that.
impact the flights? Because they go
Um,
up there. I mean,
well,
I don't
we
know. I'm
would-
just curious.
Yeah, and
That'd
that
be-
would be where we would present to the FAA so that we could put out the correct notices to Air Mission
Okay.
that, hey, this airport is going to be used for the next 12 hours for a balloon fest. It would be something similar if we did it for like an Easter egg hunt or something like that. We have to put out the notices to Air Mission.
But this event starts Thursday night.
Oh,
but
and-
it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It would be like 3 days.
Yeah, we
So,
could go, we'd put out the notices when
Okay.
when we're not flying balloons, then the airport would be open to aircraft.
It's a festival. So there's vendors and all kinds of stuff out there.
Oh.
Not
Yeah.
just on the airport property, not just the
No.
balloons taking off. There's a big festival
Yeah,
with
so-
bands and.
Okay, yeah, we just need to know what kind of footprint we're looking at and try to figure it out,
Okay.
so.
All right. His name's Dwayne Hicks, and I'll give him
Okay.
your number, Rob, and then you just let us know.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
thank you. Jackie, good morning.
Morning.
I feel like I'll be a gentleman.
So nice.
Aw.
We'll see you guys later.
There's a switch.
So I only have 2 amending resolutions, today, so I don't really have any comments unless the board has questions.
Okay. In accordance with section 305.30K of the Ohio Revised Code and this board's resolution 21-0396 and this board's resolution 21-0878, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county administrator's approval to I'll make a motion to direct the auditor's office to pay process the October 10th, 2024 bills, ACH payments, wires, journal vouchers, and then and nows as applicable, contingent upon the verification of the reports as presented by the county auditor and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes,
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to process the October 10th, 2024 budget amendments as reviewed and recommended by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the resolutions. The Board of Commissioners agrees to amend Resolution 240533 to change the funding source for a vehicle purchase for the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion. The Board of Commissioners agrees to amend Resolution 23-0451 and Resolution 24-0280 to correct the year of the vehicles purchased for use by the Portage County Engineers Department.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. Thank you, Jackie. That was short and sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, any
A little bit.
miscellaneous?
Okay, I'm on it. Two good presentations. Okay. The Board of Commissioners acknowledged receipt of the October 15th, 2024 certificate of the county auditor, and the total appropriations from each fund do not exceed the official estimate of resources as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Commission, the Board of Commissioners approves the appointment to the Portage County District Library Board of Trustees for Dharmanesh Sangavabi or Jennifer Myers.
Second.
Wait. Or, wait,
They needed one,
Correct.
yeah,
We
but they
have-
had two,
Yes.
so that they need the approval of two regardless of who they choose.
no, we have to choose the
We have to
ones.
choose.
No, we have to
I
choose.
believe you do, yes.
Yeah, no, that's why, no.
Because the letter I saw indicated that
No,
either one
it's
would
only
work.
one.
Either
Right,
one
but
would
we
Because
have
I
to decide.
said, yeah, so we should have decided.
Yeah,
We had-
why, I don't,
Yeah.
Interviews, I think they're
We had
they're
done that before.
resumes.
We would have to talk to Jessica, I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah,
what-
yeah, we can't say or. We actually have to be the one that appoint, because they said they didn't care who we picked.
Yes,
So let's table that one.
okay.
I'll redact that. Okay, I'll go to the second one. The Board of Commissioners authorized the issuance of county procurement card to be held in the name of Portage County Building Department and Floodplain Administration, also being issued in the names of Joseph L. Bodnar, to be used for work-related expenses in accordance with section 301.29 of the Ohio Revised Code and the Portage County Procurement Card Policy for the Fund Department 020.
second,
Roll call.
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to amend Resolution 21-0829 and Resolution number 22-0398, adoption of fee schedule for the assigned council services for use by all the Portage County.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners approves solely for the purpose of Section 1475, or excuse me, 147F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, the issuance by the Arizona Industrial Development Authority of not to exceed 355 million senior living revenue bonds. I guess it's Great Lakes Senior Living Communities LLC.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes. We'll recess till 9:30.
Okay,
All right, we reconvene as Board of Commissioners, and.
Do we have adult probation out there? Yes. We have. Gentlemen, come on in. I can hear Hank.
Yeah.
Your
Morning, sir.
Honors.
You are
Hi,
up
guys.
front and
Hi.
center.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you, sir? I am well, and yourself?
What, did I
Good.
see something, you're taking a hike, a sabbatical, or retiring or something?
Not
like
yet.
that? At the end of the year?
The staff would love for me to leave at the end of the year, but my daughter gets married. My daughter gets married in June of 25.
Okay.
So then I can create an exit plan then.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. We'll see. I'm still passionate about what I do, but I know you can't stay on forever. So there's a plan somewhere.
I'm having psychological problems like that.
Have you discussed that plan with your wife? Is she
No.
ready for you to be home?
I don't think she is. She'll kill me.
She'll be in probation.
Yeah, she'll be on probation. Yeah.
You're up, sir.
Oh, if you guys will allow me to circle back around, I think it was the spring of this year where we came to the board indicating that we were running out of federal funds. And the board so graciously provided funding through the end of 2024 for 2 positions. Of those 2 positions, one was an original position in our department. And at the very least, I mean, quite frankly, we like to get both positions continued funding, but at the very least, one of them. And then we'd have to go through the layoff process. Giving us one will put us back to our original staffing. Giving us 2 would be a blessing. Like I said, the federal funds have ran out. Teresa has written a grant. Of course, with federal funds, you don't keep getting them. So we were not renewed. We did another grant for, what is that, One Ohio, the opioid. We're still waiting to hear. If we hear from them, that would be helpful too, because we would get some funding for a position and also some programming. So, again, we're asking for 2 positions. Again, we're thankful and grateful that you guys were able to continue the funding to the end of the year, but we're still bleeding up at the office. I mean, the offenders are going away. No one's going to jail. No one's going to prison. So we have to, for lack of a better word, we have to babysit these guys. And that's not the word I want to use, but seemingly that's what's happening, because it's hard to change, change their needs and wants and all of that stuff. It's on them. So I digress.
How many dollars are we speaking? What are you talking money-wise, finance?
Michael, if you will, those
Kara-
2 positions.
Caroline, or another position, it would be 2409 that we'd be looking to pay both of them.
Per hour? That's
yes,
hour.
per
What's total?
So it's just over 50,000.
Each?
Yes.
And then, of course, you throw in the
Benefits.
benefits. Yeah, so if
Correct.
you look
With the
at
fringes, in total, we're looking about 72, because it's a slight increase from the numbers we have here on this back page, Hank.
for 2 of those. So it'd be
Yeah,
like
we're looking
147.
at like 72 and a half, so probably, what's that, 145?
144.
And again, if for some reason, we're asking for 2, and of course, I'm when it comes to money, I'm very frugal. That case manager's position, if by chance that person left, we would not replace that position. So through attrition, that position would be gone, and we would not replace it. But that's where we are.
So what's the likelihood, I mean, since how you brought that up, what's the likelihood of that happening?
No, it's
Slim to none?
Yeah.
Okay.
A young kid currently holds that position. Of course, with the younger folk, they come and go.
Mhm.
And that's the reason why I offered that. I mean, we still have some senior officers going to be around until they retire, like me. But you do have some younger people who aspire to do other things.
Mhm.
We just lost a couple people that we trained. One went to parole. You got one that wants to be a cop. I mean, we train them, and my staffing's that well. They train them very well, and they aspire to do something else. So.
So this would, since we funded till the end of the year, we're talking going forward.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, did we put that in the budget? Cause wouldn't that normally come through the budget process of adding?
So if they wanted to add that to the general fund, then yes, but I don't know I haven't gotten to that yet, but I don't know if they added those
Okay.
into the general fund, into the
So
general
we-
fund request.
We proposed, for the 2025, we did propose to put one back in there for sure in the general fund. And we did calculate that with what I submitted.
That puts us original staffing there.
And you're good through the end of the year from what we gave you in the
Yes,
spring?
yes, we're good, right, Michael, I don't wanna misspeak, since
Okay.
Michael does the budget.
Yeah, so, okay, so then it sounds to me like, Jackie, do you have any questions so then we can figure out?
I guess I was wondering if maybe if we're waiting to see if we're getting the One Ohio funding, if maybe we could maintain these positions in maybe the probation services fund or, you know, one of the other funds, if we're potentially gonna move the positions
What
back to
was
a.
your
company.
request for the One Ohio? I don't have it off the top of my, it was,
This recent one, oh gosh, good question, I'm trying to think, what did you
cause
recent?
that was probation, it was under like all the drug courts. and
Yes,
stuff's what it
yes,
was.
yes, and we're
Because
gonna, it was
I
gonna,
can tell
yeah,
you that, I serve on that.
Okay.
And we did recommend to fully fund that.
oh, okay,
But again, we don't,
Yeah,
we're
that's
just
right. You're gonna make a-
advisory,
yep.
but we did recommend to fully fund that.
okay,
And so we should hear back, but then, you know, we're just an advisory board, so it goes down to the state board.
Mhm.
They'll analyze it, but that is one thing that, we were able to get
We just gotta
recommended
wait
for
to
Portage.
hear from
Mhm.
them.
Do they give you a payout time or within 6 months we'll make a decision?
As far as,
As
The state board?
opioid fund?
no.
No?
The first round of funds, they just awarded, and then we
Yeah, I did see that.
are in the second round.
Okay.
So, it's going through the vetting process. So then it goes through their expert panel. I mean, there's a whole process.
And there's several
and then-
regions, right? Are there several regions? Did they do one or
Oh,
two
yeah,
regions?
we're Region 13.
Okay.
I think there's like 19 of us. But our region sent our recommendations in. So that would have been
Okay.
recommendations for funding for Jaga, Lake, Portage, and Ashtabula.
Okay,
So we have submitted our recommendations.
see what
And
they
then it
say.
goes to the full state
Yeah.
board, which Ted St. John's on,
mm-hmm,
and they vote then.
okay,
But I can tell you, it was our recommendation to
okay,
fully
we
fund it.
appreciate that, they're just moving at a turtle-like pace,
But that being said,
yeah.
that's all I can do is
I got you,
recommend.
Yeah, I
Um,
appreciate that, we appreciate that.
we don't have the final say.
But as Michael said, he did put one position in there to get us back to original staffing. Again, if we can't get to, then we have to do the, you know, I hate to say the unthinkable, we have to go through the layoff process.
Yeah.
And go from there.
So we have a little bit of time, because I know we should be hearing, I would think, by the end of this month, maybe next month.
Okay, and we're in October,
Recommendations
yeah,
and
we're in
then-
October now,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah. And
thought
we got the
from the
budget
board-
process
Yeah.
going,
That's
So,
right.
yeah, we could probably discuss further as we go through the
Okay.
process.
Yeah.
You know.
That's fine, okay, perfect.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you, we
Yeah.
appreciate your time.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, you fine folks have a great day and a better weekend, all right?
Hey, Hank,
good-
Yeah.
get back to us.
I know, I got that before I retire.
Have a good day.
All right,
you
good
guys.
day.
Bye-bye. Have a good
All right,
day.
great day, okay.
Nice to see you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Good seeing you.
Okay.
we got Hopetown at 10. Oh, do we want to go back to the resolution? Have you guys had a chance to review the?
I know
I have.
which one.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Jennifer Myers. I mean, both of them were good candidates, and as John Harris,
Number one.
Pardon?
Miscellaneous.
number one.
Okay.
But, you know, John did mention that they're very unrepresented in the southern part, which Jennifer would be, and she's the one that has all the library experience.
Right.
But I would encourage the other candidate, maybe Jessica could
Demarche.
send out some other openings, you know, if he wants to serve. I don't know if he just wants to serve a library or he has an interest in something else. But I would go with Jennifer Myers.
That's my choice as well.
Mike?
Me as well.
Okay.
We'll approve. Jennifer
So,
Myers.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the appointment to the Portage County District Library Board of Trustees for Jennifer Myers.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes. Thank you. we will recess till 10.
All right.
All right, we will reconvene the Board of Commissioners. Sir Ted, you are up.
Well, that was fast.
Come on up, guys.
So I want to introduce you guys to Chris Latimer.
Hi,
Hi,
Chris.
Chris.
Hello.
Chris is brand new with us. He just started. He's going to be our program coordinator.
Oh, very good.
He's going to help us with implement things like AI, because I'm obsessed with AI and how we're going to implement that into what we do. Social media, and what's really cool, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit, is he's going to help us get our car repair, auto repair shop going, and help with the scheduling of that and how that works. And then the back end, where we're gonna, in the back garage, where we're going to be doing auto detailing and car washing. And that's gonna be a business in the front and the back of this. And he's gonna be helping with those two pieces, which are
Oh,
big
wow.
pieces to help us get this going, because we wanna make sure that we get off on the right foot, because we're gonna be running a professional service. And, you know, just like with any other business, you gotta start right. Your service has gotta be there, you gotta be on point, or, you know, you just develop the wrong reputation. So he's gonna help us do that. He's also a person in recovery. And if you guys might remember my Aubrey Latimer, who was my clinical director at Hope Village,
Yep.
this is her brother.
Oh my gosh.
How cool is that,
That is
right?
really awesome.
Yeah, so he could tell you a little bit about things as we start to progress, but I just want to make sure I'm on point. Are we talking like 10, 15-minute update here? What are we thinking?
You got just scheduled for 20 minutes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right, so I think first, I think most of you have been to the new building, right? And that's our new headquarters. We moved in May. We were able to purchase that outright. I thought I was gonna have to find someone like a Stacy Brown to help me, you know, like somebody else to help us purchase it, but we were able to purchase it on our own, and also establish a line of credit to help us buffer and insulate us if anything goes wrong, right? So if any of our grants, because we're initially, when we started this 3.5 years ago, we had two revenue streams. One was donations and one was rent. Neither added up to much. I think we did 90 grand in our first year. We did 300 grand in our second year and added in Hope on Wheels. Now we've got some state grants, some county funding, Mental Health and Recovery Board. I think we've got probably 7 or 8 different revenue streams, and now we're gonna add a couple more. So essentially we went out and got a job, and a lot of our revenue, I mean, we're over $1 million this year already, you know, and we're just getting started. So we want to be able to continue to get the support of others, and but we want to make sure that we're stabilized, and diversifying our revenue allows us to be stabilized and not just depend on the handouts of others to do what we want to do, because we want to move fast, and we're developing our services quickly. But we also need to have the staffing to be able to show quality.
And be sustainable, because as you know, the grants and stuff are not guaranteed
No,
from year
these,
to year.
like every year, these SOS grants we've received, I was able to bring over a couple grants and the jail contract with Hope Town, or Hope Village. We were able to just move those into Hope Town, which helped us a lot. It gave us the ability to have this linkage and navigation peer support in the community, which is a service that's not generally available because Medicaid doesn't pay for that type of service. And we were able to, you know, add those in, but then we've also been able to add those, you know, in additional. And then they changed it just in the last 3 weeks. And instead of awarding it, they made us reapply. Everybody had to reapply. So that was some work, but we asked for 3 times the number that we were asking for before, because we're adding different services and we're looking to do different things. And they've awarded us before for our innovation, and hopefully we'll get awarded again in a month. That'll help us. Because the things that I mentioned that he's gonna be helping us with right off the bat is going to be our car service, the auto repair. We're ready to open to the public, but it's semi-private, meaning we're not gonna do all services, and we're not gonna take all comers. We're gonna decide case for case what jobs, but it's mostly the things that we're experts at: brakes, suspension, oil changes, tires, general engine stuff. And we'll be competitively priced, you know, market price, and we'll have as you guys know, there's no other car repair service in Wyndham, and there used to be. So it's nice to have, you know, for us to be able to come into that space. But our first account's the Wyndham Village and the Wyndham Police Department. So we'll be doing their car repair. We'll also, our first car wash and detailing account will be the Portage County Jobs and Family Services. I guess Kelly Jo was in here talking to you guys about this, and so we're working on that agreement to get that started. And then Mark Frazone, we're gonna do some car repair and stuff for all his vehicles, and that was something he
Very
approached
nice.
us about.
How many mechanics?
Right now we have one, and we're in the process of hiring our second one. We're trying to hire a second one so we have full coverage, and the ability for any interruptions on turnover. So, but the model basically allows us to have two at this point until we develop some sustainability. But then the back half of that is this training institute. But I'm gonna step back one step. The other thing that we're doing we got our very first consulting licensing agreement for Hope on Wheels Consulting. So another part of what Hope Town is gonna be, because the model that we have with the housing and the employment and the transportation is something that many have asked us, since they like the model that we're doing, is are you gonna grow it into other spaces, especially the transportation? And we're not interested to do that. I want my focus to be here, right? I'm not looking to grow Hope on Wheels throughout the state and become a state transportation provider. What I am interested to do is consult and provide technical assistance and coaching for those that are organically leaders and want to develop these solutions in their own communities. We'll consult for them. And we're working with some big organizations and institutions right now statewide that want to help us develop what we're doing so that we can develop a system to consult and put programs in place, because they see the value in that idea rather than trying to, a company or an organization trying to spread into other communities. Think of it in the reverse. If somebody was coming in with these solutions that was from Chillicothe, it might be different for our community to accept that, right? So we should think of who we can develop within the communities that have the relationships. So we've got a large consulting agreement that we're going to be working with, licensing rather than franchising the Hope on Wheels logo, because they want it. It's not required. They don't have to consult with us and use our logo. So we've decided that licensing agreement for the use of the logo in our system is something, and that'll be down in Cincinnati and Kentucky. So it's a big outfit down there that got the funding, and included in their funding to develop this program is our consulting fees, and that's going to be kind of how this goes. So we'll be helping other communities, but all the proceeds will go to benefit our mission right here in Portage. So that's how I'm looking to grow.
Okay.
And then the last big part of this is, you guys saw the unfinished portion of the old police station, right?
Yes.
I've got 1,300 square feet in there that I basically stripped down to studs, right? So we can kind of see through and see the actual space. Then there's another 1,000 square foot that we're not doing anything with. It's the old dormitory when they built it in the 40s that was used for the firemen to sleep with the fire station right there. We're just gonna use that for storage. We've got 1,300 square feet of space that we're putting in a recovery community organization, what we call an RCO, which is basically a recovery community center. It'll be a drop-in center for people to find support in most hours where they need to go somewhere and get support. And we've got a whole hallway full of peer supporters and linkage people that can help them. So that way, if there's an issue in the community, think of this. Like, you know how we have interactions with law enforcement, they don't know what to do with somebody who needs to get into treatment? Where do you triage that? At a recovery community center. You bring them to certified peer supporters and let them manage that from there, their housing, their treatment, getting them into space. So it's a multi-purpose, because it'll also be open for meetings in the evenings, right there in sunny Wyndham. But for us, it's gonna be a multi-purpose training center. So we're also gonna be developing this automotive internship program with Jobs and Family Services with Kelly Jo. And it won't just be for, initially the idea was it was just gonna be for people that lived at our houses. Then it was gonna be for people that are in recovery, where they could do a 10 or 16-week program and get their ASC certifications while they're working either in our garage or other auto-related partners, employers in our community that Jobs and Family will help bring together. And then we're gonna meet with Kent State, Stark State, and Maplewood, and decide who's gonna be the trainers for this. So it won't be Hopetown, mom and pop doing their own training for these things. We're gonna bring in a teaching organization that can,
Certified people that
yeah,
can
yeah,
get the
so
certifications.
they'll just be using this space for different parts of the day. So essentially, the internship program that they already have, which is manufacturing program, right? The manufacturing internship program they've successfully been doing for years, means that they get a full-time position, they take on and they work at a partner's firm, like a manufacturing place. In this case, it'll be an automotive place, part-time. And then in the afternoons, they're at Hopetown in Wyndham, doing classroom training to get certifications, because certifications is the goal. And we're meeting with these partnership employers rather than creating a curriculum ourselves and saying, hey, once we get done, will you employ them full-time? We're saying, what training do you want this curriculum to include? And then when we're done training them, you can bring them in full-time. They're already with you part-time if you like them, right? And a lot of these things have worked, and we know that there's a lot of recovery-friendly folks, employers out there. But to say that, with this training program, it's not just the training program at Hopetown will not just be for those in recovery. It's gonna be for anyone who wants. So that's what I love, is it didn't really, because I've got such narrow focus, they opened me up to, why would it just be for people in recovery? Why, I mean, if that's the anchor of this program, fine, but it's a professional service.
Well, it's much needed.
And it's much needed, and it's on that side of the county, right? So that's what's happening next. I just gotta come up with the funds to finish the building, right? There's a lot that we can do with that space, that multi-purpose use of that type of space that'll, as you guys saw in our place, we've got great garages, we got good offices, we don't have any community space. This'll give us that. So I've included a couple things, and I didn't give it to you first because I know the squirrel moment would have happened. You guys wouldn't be looking at me, you'd be looking at this paper. So I waited, but this you guys get to keep.
Thank you.
And I
Yes.
apologize for missing that. I told your mother the day before I was gonna be there, and
Of course, I
couldn't get there.
understand. So now it's up to you guys, because you know I could keep going, but now it's up to you guys. If you've got questions, or want to hear a little bit more about anything else, or tell me what I'm not doing that I need to start doing.
That'd be a tough stretch there.
Yeah. But as I was telling Chris, as we were waiting to come in here, I told him a little bit about what it is that your role is, the way I understand it, right? And generally, I look at it as you guys hold the purse strings to all the county budgets. But and he'd heard that you guys were recovery friendly, that you guys support recovery. And I says, and it's just personally and professionally, each one of you have supported me and our program and recovery in general in this community. And I don't know how common or uncommon that is, but I know I've told each of you how much it means to me, because this is a pretty thankless task that we all do in our own lanes. But I know that, I was having a conversation at the gym this morning with somebody who's tries to help people in recovery, and sometimes it can be more than thankless. Sometimes you're not appreciated at all for the efforts. But it doesn't mean that we don't keep doing it, because what's happening and what we're seeing is we're changing not only these individuals' lives, the course that they're on, and giving them an opportunity to shift, but the legacies of their families, because you guys know me personally, and this hasn't just changed my life, this has changed the direction of my entire family, and what's happened for my daughter at 4 when I came into recovery, and you see what's happened and how she's grown and developed. That does not we were in Vegas last week, and she said to me, as she looks at her life, she's like, I'm just so, me and my friends and my boyfriend are so happy that you are so solid, that we can count on you. And that's what recovery does, right? Recovery allows our kids can look at us and trust what they see. And that's what we try to do for others.
Well, I'll tell you, your mom's proud of you.
Yeah,
And we are too.
yeah,
Never
Very
heard
much
her
so.
say that.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
yeah.
exactly.
That's her Teddy.
Well, I mean, and that's what we do, right? We try to, we stay on this side so that we can save ourselves, but in a sense, we also get to, you know, not cause the pain and suffering to others, right? So, I'm just lucky to be here.
Yeah, they do
And I
that to
always
me.
enjoy
Right.
getting called up, so I appreciate you guys calling me up to come and give you guys an update, because, you know, I don't get to see you much.
And you know what, Ted, I have to say, from the moment I met you, I was just so impressed. And, you know, the one thing about you is you focus on gap services that no one else seems to focus on. And not only do you focus on it, but you're successful at it because you truly understand it and have the passion to do something about it versus just giving lip service. And that is one of the things that I always brag about you is, you know, and use it as examples when people are saying, when I talk to other commissioners and stuff, issues like transportation, I'm like, hey, we got this really awesome guy, you know, Hope on Wheels, and, you know, so we're not just fortunate to have you in Portage, but I think the state's fortunate to have you because you are well connected in Columbus, and people look at you and your models and the success of them. So
Thank you, and we're just getting
we're
started.
grateful to have
Thank you.
you.
So if I want to get my car cleaned
Mhm.
in Wyndham, what do you do with people for 3 or 4 hours? There's no restaurant anymore.
That's interesting because my community has been leaning on me to produce other things that I don't know anything about so that we can do more. That's gonna be a good question. So what would your thought be? Cause he's gonna be handling a lot of.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of the county.
Yeah,
Sure.
So if I'm gonna
So
drop
it's not
off
like
my
you can
car to
drop
get one
off
of
your
these
car.
premiums, it's gonna take 2 or 3 hours.
yeah.
Typically, so first, typically, a full interior exterior detail can be done anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you're going to be sitting a little while.
You haven't seen his car.
Oh, yeah, I guess depends on the car, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
no, so if somebody's gonna
Yeah,
spend
so
3
that's-
hours with you, they can't get home.
yeah, so that's definitely something to think of. I mean,
Well, I can
especially
tell you, because I'm a neat freak with my car. A lot of times they will pick my car up and they'll drop it off,
Mhm.
or I drop it off and then, you know, I get a loaner, but obviously we're not to that. But I was thinking that maybe that since you have Hope on Wheels, if someone's going to have a bigger job that's going to take several hours, that might be something that would help.
Yeah.
You know, the
Well, I love
longevity.
that because essentially we could offer that as an option, right?
Mhm.
Because we do have
Yeah.
other vehicles.
Pick it up.
We have
and-
staff and we can include it in the service cost, right? So
Yeah.
if that's a need and you live in Aurora and we look
Yeah,
at the
someplace-
distance or wherever you need
Right.
to be and how to add that service in, we just add
Yeah,
that option.
that's a good idea.
And I think it is a good idea, cause honestly, if you hang out in our lobby for 3 hours, it's gonna distract my whole team. So I need to get you
Yeah.
somewhere.
Mhm.
Well, and that's the whole idea.
There's a
So-
Circle K
Yeah.
about half a mile down the road.
They have a Polar Pop
Polar
program.
Pop.
My mom will tell you about her Sip and Save Polar Pop program.
They got hot
Oh, I
dogs.
got $10 a month.
Yeah.
My husband's on it.
And I can walk it off going back.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
but
th-
that's a
that
good,
is-
that's a really good point.
Because you want it more than outside Wyndham, and Wyndham,
We do.
as we all know, is relatively
And we
isolated.
believe that this service will, because one, first of all, the locals, it's just gonna be a good competitive service that they
Mhm.
don't have available to them now. So
Right.
from a straight business standpoint, we should be able to gather some business as long as we offer a professional service
Yeah.
and we do it right and we stay within the markers. But the other side is there's folks that might travel an extra 10 minutes to come to ours because they wanna support the mission, right? So there's a combination of that.
I know the Frenches would drive out, but they
They
don't
would.
want to sit there for 3 hours.
That's what, and who would,
Uh,
right?
They're, or even drop off a car.
Mhm.
I mean, Matt's not at AIMTech anymore,
Right.
but yeah, that's my thought when I look at this.
Yeah.
That how could I do that and support, but not hang out for
I think there's some
3 hours.
solutions for it.
I think there
There's
is
good
too, and I
ones.
could even look, it makes me even think of looking at my insurance too, to see if I can't just loan the car, you mentioned,
Mhm.
because we've got Hope on Wheels cars.
Yeah.
Now, do you wanna drive around a Hope on Wheels car? Again, it'd be an option, we can create some options for you to choose.
You can make some money on Uber.
Mhm.
There's also some long-term solutions that we haven't talked about yet, but one of those being for customers that are going to be a substantial distance away, we can look at like even mobile detailing, for
Mhm.
instance, where we have a small Sprinter van, and in that van we have our own water source, water tank, we have our own generator, we have our own shop vac, and for someone that's farther away, we can do one of two things. We either pick up and deliver their vehicle when we're done, or we can just send our van out there and do it wherever they're at. So
Yeah.
while you're sitting at work, you know, your car's really dirty when you come into work, and when you leave, it's gonna be spotless, so.
Yeah, or you
That's
just
a
pick it up,
thought.
yeah, or pick it up at
I
work.
used to
Yeah.
know someone that did the
I love it.
mobile.
That makes a lot of sense for us too.
Because we want to get out of Wyndham, right? That's the whole idea. You want
Yeah.
people to come into Wyndham.
Yeah, we want to develop a full service that we can grow, because all of that does is it, you know, all these different services that we're providing are just going towards our mission, allowing us to hire staff to support the programs that we're doing, right? So, I mean, we've been able to, I think of where we're at now. We're larger than Hope Village ever was, just barely, but this year we are larger than Hope Village ever made it to be. And we're profitable, so that gives us sustainability and ability to hire more, and it's a nonprofit, which means that all it does is it goes back into programming and staff, and it's not like it pulls out and goes to the owner, because there is no owner. I'm not the owner. I'm just a trusted servant, which is an odd experience for a founder to be, but that's how nonprofits work, and that's where we're at.
Very good.
Gentlemen,
Always
thank you very
when
much
you
for
guys
coming
come
in.
in.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Take care, my guy.
Dude, I ain't kissing you.
Yes, you already have.
Nice
You're
to meet
kissing
you.
me,
Nice to
my-
meet you as
my
well,
dear.
bud.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Nice to
Chris.
meet you.
Cassidy, yes.
We'll just recess till public comment, or I think we have.
Cassidy, is there any public comment that you know of yet?
Not that I know of, but.
Oh, he's got
You
one.
go in there?
Come on up.
Sorry.
We could do this early, because that's typically not till 11, but you can come on up and we do public comment for you now. What's the public comment?
Thank you.
This is Mr. Highland.
Yeah, he's been in before.
He's been.
Yes, I know you.
Hi, Mr. Highland.
Hi.
Okay, the assessment, Chen.
Yeah, so, I just came here today. I was looking online, and I went to, they have a meeting for the Chin Allotment Group. A couple things came up, and I said I would just come
Okay.
and talk about them. One was the tax assessment
Mhm.
and the impact that the sewer project has on the value of the homes in that allotment area.
Mhm.
And several people at this group meeting, and I too went to the hearings, and the assessor I talked to did not have any knowledge of the Chin sewer thing, which, you know, doesn't surprise me one way or the other. But when I told him about it, he says there's no way that he could take it into consideration at this point, at least in the hearing that I had with him. He did say that he would bring it up with his boss, and I'm not sure who his boss is, because apparently they're contractors and don't work directly for Matt Kelly.
No, they're an outside
Right.
Appraisal service. Yes,
So,
sir.
You
anyway.
wouldn't be able to assess that till all the project's completely done anyway, right?
Well, that was my,
You can't assess something that you don't have. So I would
Well,
guess that
we
hey,
do-
when this is done,
well, see, I had a different view
Okay.
on it, and that's one view, and I
Mhm.
understand that view. And that's kind of what he said until it's done, but it was approved at that point, so I told him it was approved, it's mandated, it's something that we, as a house seller,
Mhm.
would have to divulge to a potential buyer. That would impact the resale value. So I brought that up,
Mhm.
and I gave him so that's why it surprised me that he hadn't heard. Apparently other people, when I went to this meeting, had brought up the same issue with the people they had talked to at that hearing. And in the process, they were, pretty much asked, I guess would be the best way to describe it, to go to the Board of Revisions with it, which I understand. I mean, it's a complicated
Yeah, the Board of
issue.
Revisions, yeah.
And
So,
they're-
so my question would be, is from the gist of this, is that you would like the tax assessment possibly to go on earlier, because if I sell my house, then the benefit of having that water sewer would be beneficial, and isn't that putting the horse before the cart before the horse?
Well, the way.
Would you buy the house with the guess in 3 years you'd have water? water
Not
and
with, no, I would.
You'd want to see it done before you.
I wouldn't buy it for the value that the assessor gave to
Mhm.
it. I have several properties that
Mhm.
it was here before.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wouldn't buy it for any of those with that assessment. I gave them a cost
Yeah,
estimate.
yeah.
And, you know, that ranges from, I don't know, you know, in the $30,000 range for my costs.
Mhm.
This was based on the current project costs and
Mhm.
assessments that they gave us.
Yeah. We're
So-
down to about 3,400 now for each household.
Yeah, a little
Well,
over that, 3,000.
Uh,
32 or something like that. Yeah. So
It's like
I
3,000.
mentioned that yesterday, and they said it was much lower than that.
that's pretty cool.
So you said 32,000?
3,200.
3,200.
Yeah,
My
that's-
costs are for putting in forced main systems, putting in control
Okay,
system,
yeah.
pumps, you know,
Yeah.
the whole cost that I would see,
Okay.
which, you know.
So you want the assessors to do that now?
Right, I mean, they're, how do you look at it? Or how would I describe it?
I would look at it, you're putting the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse.
Well,
If it's not there, then.
And we can't assess
then-
it
then
until it's complete,
yeah.
because we don't know what the final numbers are to assess.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then
but-
you wanna put those other forced mains
but-
and all those.
But I know that if I were to sell that house,
Mhm.
I would have to say, here's what I know, current costs, that I would
Yeah,
have to.
you have to
Right,
disclose it.
I have to disclose it,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Exactly. And the seller would say, well, I've got all these costs, I'm not gonna pay fair market value for it, I'm
Mhm.
gonna have to reduce that cost by what you tell me would be the cost that I know now.
Mhm.
So that's not putting the cart before the horse, that's putting the
Only for the seller.
house.
Yeah, so what is your purpose?
Purpose here or
Yeah.
purpose? Just to bring,
Okay.
you know, cause, you know, I don't wanna come back and the Board of Revision say, well, we never heard about this, but that's,
Well, I mean, that is, I wouldn't, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
right,
Mine was, until it's done, I don't wanna hear about it.
okay.
If I was a buyer. Or seller, you're estimating what the cost is gonna be to do all these things. And as a buyer, I would wanna see them done before
Before you bought the house? Or
I bought the house.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, so I wouldn't be able to sell it for the next 2 years,
Uh-huh.
because, so the.
You weren't gonna sell it for the next 15 years
Yeah,
anyway.
you're right.
Come on.
Well, the point
So,
being that there's two ways of looking at it,
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely.
I think, and so, and then the other thing was, there were several people there that said that they were unaware of that sewer project at all. So that surprised me, but,
Yeah, because there's been all kinds of
yeah,
notifications and
yeah,
stuff,
and as an assessor, but.
public hearings, I mean.
So, yeah, so I kind of resigned myself to go on the Board of Revisions and seeing how it would all fall out. There was another issue that came up, if I've got time, the stormwater runoff. Somebody brought that up in the Chin allotment area, stormwater runoff, and somebody brought that up at the meeting. I thought it was a good thing, that the plan, and I kind of put this in my concerns when I wrote the letter, way back in June, July timeframe. And there's areas, and I know, I have a property on the corner of Lois and Marchand, and water collects, it can collect in that area, where it's this deep, because water comes down Woodlawn, it comes down Marchand, and it all flows into that area, and it can't run off, so it'll sit there for, 30 minutes. So the potential is, for any houses in those areas, that the water would get into the sewers, because they're low, they're not at real deep, they haven't been put at a deep level, that potentially can go into the basements, which are deeper than the sewer. So that was a good point, and somebody said they brought it up to Portage County Water Resources. I implied there was a problem when I did my concerns, but have not heard explicitly back from them. In terms of what you could do, I don't know if you have any input to getting feedback from them on the potential for stormwater backing up into the sewer system.
That'd be a question
Stormwater, that
for,
would, yeah,
Yeah,
that,
for-
stormwater is normally under the engineer, which then they outsource to soil and water out there on 88.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
the engineer's office on 88? Is that-
No.
No, that's,
No, the
Oh.
stormwater is under the county engineer, but they have soil and water that oversee that program. So you could contact, I think it's Eric out there. I can get you a number.
that would be nice.
Yeah, so you can, and they'll come out and take a look,
Yeah,
Mr. Highland.
thank you.
Yes. Let me get a number for you.
And the last issue that I had was that they wanted to meet with Ohio EPA. And I'm talking for the group now, it's not something that, personally, I thought was a big issue, but they want to meet with them and the potential for, discussing water issues and potential impact on this, on the,
let us know when they're gonna come.
that was their point. They had contacted them, the EPA was willing to meet, but they needed somebody from the county to officially request that. It couldn't just
I
be,
don't believe that.
No.
okay,
You can
So
make
they
a call.
want,
They did a lot of stuff without contacting
Yeah,
us.
you can make a call to Ohio EPA and make your concern that the residents want to meet with somebody, and they'll come see you.
yeah.
they'll come, they
They
want it to
don't
be,
need us.
they want it to be at a public place, but you're saying that it doesn't have to
We,
be.
no,
They
we don't,
didn't meet with us for anything they've
No.
done so far.
no, they don't control what, or ask us to control them. Nope.
Okay, well, I'll bring that back. and-
Okay.
and let
Thank you for
people know.
coming in, those are good concerns and good questions.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I don't wanna bug you and just, you know.
No, it's
I know
no
you
bother.
guys- Actually, I was reading through all the meeting minutes just to go back and refresh my memory and some of
Yeah.
the things, and it's like, you guys do a heck of a lot of work.
It's,
It
you know,
seems
it's
to
gonna be
me.
a crystal ball that you're kinda looking for right now. What's
Me?
gonna happen in the future until all
Yeah.
this stuff happens.
You mean in terms of the assessment?
All the things that the assessment, the water, and everything is, all right, this possibly could happen. And so I guess the question you're asking about the EPA is, okay, if this possibly could happen, does happen, what do
Right.
we do about that? Or how do we prevent
Yeah,
that in the
that's,
before?
that's a concern. I think they wanna know too, if it's gonna affect this chin group wants to know if, that will affect, gets into the sewers
Mhm.
they're putting in. And even now, where there's stormwater.
There you go.
Thank you.
Sorry, all I had is a little thing there, but it's Eric Long, and he's at the Portage County Soil and Water out there on 88
Mhm.
to discuss the stormwater.
All right, I will contact them.
And you can tell that whole group that they're welcome for the diligent work from the water department that keeps bringing down.
Yes, that was the other thing I had on my list too. They did say that there was a $2 million grant that came through.
Yeah, they are working their butts off. I
It's
mean,
coming down
I
and
remember
down.
this started, what, 26 to 30 million, or 30,000 per household? And we're down under 3,000?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty,
I've never seen that happen.
It was
they've been doing great.
We
Yeah,
got
I was impressed too.
an
That's not-
H2O grant,
Yeah,
like, I think it was like 2.5 million, and then we got another 500,000 from ARPA. So it took it from 16,000 per benefit user, now it's down to a little over 3,000. And we're still continuing to look for funds.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And-
Right.
See, we're not as bad as everybody thought.
Yeah, I mean,
My ears would ring for days.
I don't envy you your job, I'll tell you that.
That's what we're here for, though.
Okay.
All right, great.
Thank you, Mr. Highland, for
Thank
coming
you
in
for-
today.
Thank you, have a great afternoon.
All right.
All right.
Is there anything else to come before the board?
Now we have to-
We will recess till 11. Okay, we'll come out of recess. Is there any public comment, Cassidy?
No, there is not.
Hearing none,
I would like to ask, the board's permission to cancel the last Tuesday of the month meeting.
Yep.
Okay,
If we don't have anything, I'm good.
okay, that's all I have.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that, I'll second.
Roll call?
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
and Mike.
Yes.
Thank you.